Anyways, chat, the tournament has started. Fukuoka OP12. The starter decks are officially legal in the One Piece trading card game. I'm so excited for this tournament. Starter deck 23 through 28. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Great enhancements coming into the game for decks like Buggy, Marshall D. Teach, right? Green, Yellow, Law even, and so many more, right? Purple, Black, Luffy. You've even got Yamato getting boosts as well with these starter deck cards. Going to be a really interesting tournament, and I hope a really cool top 16 breakdown. Our friends over at Nengarden have officially kicked off the summer sale on their website. Prices are slashed from 10% to 40% across the entire store now. You can pick up some crazy discounts on One Piece based mats like the Heavenly Yaksha, some great anime themed mats like Paranormal Playmat and also the Curse vs. Beast, as well as if you get a Sun God playmat right now while supplies last. Every purchase of this specific Stitched Edge playmat gets a free playmat tube as well to help protect what you love, as well as a brand new pre-order that's dropped in the Pokemon region if you're a fan of Final Boss, which the colors on this are insane, man. I love this design. You can use my code Atrocious to save an extra 5% off and help support the channel, and make sure to grab your new favorite playmat while this sale's going on because you don't want to miss it. Now back to the video. Okay, so this is the meta share here. So 22% of this tournament is Blue Purple Luffy. 14%. Second most populous deck is OP12 Zoro. 12.2%. The third most populous deck is Green Purple Luffy. You've got Teach at the fourth most popular deck at 6.3. So Teach really on the move up, and Purple Black Luffy. There's too many freaking Luffys. Purple Black Luffy, fifth in the meta share, right? Most populous deck at 5.9%. Wait, go back to that. Shanks right here at 4.7%. Buggy right here. Buggy at 4.5%. Bonnie at 3.3%. Lucci at 3.1%. And Red Green Smoker at 2.8%. And some of the more popular rogue decks, you could say Green Yellow Law, Enel, Mono Blue Nami, Rayleigh. This is Kuzan right here, and then Yamato on top of that. And this is the top right here. So, honestly, not a lot of changes. Is this a ZoroSanji? Chat, there's a blue-green ZoroSanji right here in the top cut. Oh, my God. This is 6 blue-purple Luffys in the top cut and 5 green Zoros. Not really a surprise to anybody. And then a bunch of one-ofs in here. You've got Silver's Rayleigh right at this spot. OP05 Purple Luffy right here. You've got Marshall D. Teach right here. Green Yellow Law right, which we saw had a good run a couple weeks ago. And then Blue-Green ZoroSanji. They're definitely putting it in the top 16, chat. It is Blue-Green Sanji right here. Oh my gosh. When attacking once per turn, chat, you can return one of your characters with a cost of 2 or more into your hand, and then you set a character with 7,000 power or less as active, getting multiple attacks with it. Who's it going to face? Probably Green Purple Luffy or Zoro, I'd imagine. Or Blue Purple Luffy and Zoro, I'd imagine. Okay, so he's going to be facing off against Blue Purple Luffy. So Blue Purple Luffy, kind of the big bad boogeyman of this format, right, chat? You'd imagine that this ZoroSanji faced a couple of these Blue Purple Luffy's on its way to the top 16 tournament. It's going to be really exciting on this one. We'll see how this green ZoroSanji is built, right? Is it kind of built on speed, you know, especially with EB02, right, having different additions in the Straw Hat Group green type package? Is it going to be able to utilize that? We also saw in like OP11, you know, utilize the SR Sanji, that 6 cost that you may have been mad that you pulled the alternate art of in your deck. It's going to be really curious. I'm so excited to see this, chat. Yes, and it's partially slash leader as well, as Slender Mancer is saying in the chat. So it's going to be interesting. There's a potential, right, for this green blue Sanji to utilize stuff like the 1 cost Perona to search. Could maybe use like the Hiyori, different slash characters that we see. We see in this hand the couple 2Ks, the Dracul Mihawk right there from the starter deck that the ZoroSanji came in, as well as 2K Tashigis Also is playing, we see in this hand the couple 2Ks, the Dracula Mihawk right there from the starter deck that the ZoroSanji came in, as well as 2K Tashigis. Also is playing a Hody Jones, one of the best green cards in the game, right? Do not get me wrong. And Arlong. Arlong is a really nice, interesting card that allows your opponent's leader not to attack. So it's going to be really interesting in this top 16 round right of the top cut. Hope you bought your Arlong full arts from PRB, because those are going to go up. The blue-purple Luffy right here is going to have a couple different cards. Has a Sanji and Katakuri combo in there, but for the early ramps, has the Zorojuro, right? Especially if he's on the odd curve, he's going to be able to double ramp in the next turn, swinging with that Zorojuro, and then playing down that Bon Clay. Exactly kind of what you're looking for in here in this matchup. Yeah, I think Arlong for the mono green Zoro tech is actually insane, right? Especially with 5 of the green OP12 Zoros in this top 16 cut, chat. The Arlong is really, really nice in that matchup specifically because Zoro then can't swing into a body and then restand swing into leader. Looks like ZoroSanji is going first, so is going to be on the odd curve in this match. Chat, I appreciate you hanging out with me in this tournament. I'm going to try my best on this deck. This is my first ZoroSanji cast, so we'll see how it goes. And starting it off, the ZoroSanji going first. Doesn't have a 1-Dawn play at this point, so just passing off the turn right. Sometimes they play Kaya, so there's some plays that they can do at that point. The blue-purple Luffy, as typical, going second, or in general on the first turn, will also pass. And now we go into the blue ZoroSanji. We see an OP03 Nami, I believe that card is. That Nami is a really good search card, right, to be able to find some Straw Hat stuff. But the Dracula Mihawk will go ahead, be played, and cheat out another slash-type character, playing down the Arlong. So not using the Arlong effect, right? That blue-purple Luffy is not rested, wouldn't really be worth anything. Just trying to cheat out characters on the field, right? A lot of what is hurtful to blue-purple Luffy is rush aggro styles, right? And so if you're able to cheat out those bodies, if you're able to swing so early, the green-purple Luffy can't get set up in time and can't get in lock. As pointed out in chat by Axie Low, this green ZoroSanji went 9-0 in the Swiss rounds, went perfect, is arguably, or is the #1 seed overall. So gotta imagine that he might be favorable heading into this match. But the blue-purple Luffy on the 4-Dawn turn is going to go ahead and swing 7,000 power at the Arlong, just a 2K counter out of that. Did find the Bon Clay, so that's going to be really nice for him at this point, right? Just needs another kind of ramp card, which doesn't really have one right now as outside of Thunder Bagua, so might try to bait out a Thunder Bagua counter. In the ZoroSanji's hand now at 5-Dawn does have a smoker, so this list playing a little bit of interesting stuff with the 5-drop smoker that we saw in OP10. 7K banish is nothing to scoff at, especially if you can restand because of your leader effect to be able to swing 7K banish twice, right? That's going to feed a lot of cards out of hand. That's going to garner a lot of attention against a lot of your opponents. So definitely really like that card right now. Maybe you want to try to play it now. I would say that the only thing outside of that is God Thread is a huge threat in terms of the blue-purple Luffy heading into this next turn. So if you play down that smoker, right, there's a potential that God Thread, as they're showing on screen right now, thank you producers for showing that for me. If he plays that down right now, a God Thread could come in and basically negate his whole turn almost. So it is definitely a risky play, but I think a play that you kind of have to make looking at this hand. And so uses that smoker effect to restand a Dawn. That Dawn could be utilized on your ZoroSanji leader to be able to get 2 swings in at lead instead of 1, right, with just the Arlong. And we're going to start out 6K at lead. Did not opt to use the leader effect, right? Pick up the Dracula Mihawk. Might be something that he saves for later at this point, but could be utilizing that 2-cost Nami in the deck because, again, like I mentioned with that leader effect, you have to pick up a cost 2 or more character on your field, and that Nami searcher being a 2-cost is a perfect candidate to be able to play down, search something, pick it back up, and potentially play it again. The blue-purple Luffy ends up taking the life and moves on into the next turn. Doesn't decide to swing with the Arlong as of yet. The Arlong, he's holding it down right now. Doesn't want to get too aggro at this point. And so another Bon Clay in the hand of the blue-purple Luffy. Could go ahead and play that down, right? Would put you at 8 Dawn overall to be able to get your leader effect in the next turn. And so you might be thinking about that if you're this blue-purple Luffy. Might try to go in with something like play down the Bon Clay to ramp a Dawn, maybe attach some to your leader and leave 2 Dawn up for potentially like Thunder Bagua or something, especially for this potential banish swing that could come in because you don't have God Thread. All right, so what is the best play right now? This is such an odd matchup. You got to imagine that the blue-purple Luffy did not practice this matchup enough. So copying the 7,000 power on the smoker, ends up getting a Nami trigger. So Nami trigger, if you do not know, is going to go ahead and do its activate main search. Oh my goodness, such a good first trigger. Going to be finding an East Blue type card, and we see a ton of East Blue cards in here. We see some 2Ks in the Hachan, right, as well as that Swordsman there going with the Hachan. Oh my goodness, going to be a nice one to find right there on that. Definitely can't complain about that trigger. Oh, I've got Cat right here in my lap as this blue-purple Luffy swings 7,000 power right here. Really is just asking him right now to give up 2 cards. You see the green-blue Sanji Zoro doesn't have too many cards in hand, only has 4 cards in hand at this point. So a lot of times these 7K swings are going to go through, and we see that second life get taken. It is the Kiroshiro right there, is the 2-cost blocker that came in the set. Goes ahead, does the Bon Clay to get back up to 8 on the turn, and passes off the turn. So 3 active Dawn. You gotta imagine, again, like I said, the Thunder Bagua in the hand might be utilized on this. You've got 3 active Dawn. Finds a 4-drop Cavendish. So 4-drop Cavendish, definitely interesting in this deck, right? Is another Slash character, I believe, that you could potentially find. Definitely probably play some Slash searchers, right? Wouldn't surprise me if something like the 1-cost Perona was in this list. Really good card to be able to filter the hand. And so goes ahead, starts off with a 7K banish. I really like this banish swing right here, right? All you do is just force him to cut a card in hand at this point. Really like that. And now you've got all this done. Do you go aggressive and do you go like Hody Jones or something like that? Is Hody Jones worth it at this point? I don't think Hody Jones is worth it right now. Maybe trying to set up with like that 4-cost Cavendish and maybe swing with lead or something of the sort. Could be a route that this ZoroSanji takes, and might use leader effect as well to pick up the Nami to be able to swing again with this smoker. Yes, J-Tham, it is green-blue ZoroSanji making the top 16 and is perfect in Swiss, going a perfect 9-0 before this top cut bracket. Really good job by this Nami right here, swinging and taking out this Bon Clay. Removes a threat that is going to copy one of your 7,000 power characters. And here we go, swinging 6,000 power is going to use that leader effect when attacking to pick up a 2-cost or more character to restand a 7,000 power or less in that smoker. And so on that swing, does get another card right there. And now the smoker is going to go ahead and swing yet again. 7,000 power banish is going to force another 2K. The blue-purple Luffy running out of cards in hand at this point, but does have another 2K in that Usohachi to be able to get around that swing. You got to imagine that you're going to be able to take 1 life off of this next swing, right off of this Arlong potentially. And so Tashigi coming in right now. I like this Tashigi play, right? It keeps some of your bodies alive in case like Lin comes down on this turn, right? Going to a full 10 Dawn, this blue-purple Luffy on the next turn. A Sanji into Lin or something of the sort is definitely a viable thing that could happen. And so After taking that life, right, going down to 1, the ZoroSanji is going to go ahead and have the Smoker activate its activate main to restand 1 Dawn. And now they've got 4. I think maybe thinking about playing a Cavendish on the field right now, but instead attaching 2 Dawn and swinging 6,000 power, right? So going with another 6, maybe thinking about playing this Nami down to be able to do another search. We've got the Thunder Bagua going off to ramp 1 Dawn, and the 2 rested for the Kyoshiro, right? So this is a nice blocker that came in OP12. Going to be very, very good to protect your slash type characters. And so off of this top 5 for the Luffy, not a lot of incredible options, I feel like, at this point. You've got 2 Gum Gum Giants and 2 Gear 2s, as well as 1 Red Rock in this top 5. So looking to keep all of that on top just says, you know what, I really like the cards that I've got in my hand to combo well with these different events that I have. It's going to be really crazy on this first 10 Dawn turn. We'll see. Looks like a good position for this green-blue Sanji, but especially as maybe an 8-cost Katakuri comes down on the field on this turn, it's going to be difficult once this blue-purple Luffy starts playing down these big bodies. But one thing that is nice is you've got Hody Jones, one of the best cards in the game, right? If they go in and play that 8-drop Katakuri and leave 2 active Dawn up, the green-blue ZoroSanji could pick up a character or something of the sort, right? Maybe pick up this 2K of the Dracula Mihawk and eventually play down the Hody Jones to rest the Dawn or the blocker if on the leader swing they go ahead and counter out or block or do something of the sort. It's a little awkward of a play, like I was trying to mention, because I realized that you have nothing else to restand, but doesn't matter anyways at this point because the Luffy grinds out and takes out that Dracula Mihawk. The Bon Clay now attacking at life, copying the 7,000 power of the Smoker. Looks like it's just going to be a block on that one. So says, you know what, I got the protection of the Tashigi. I'm not too worried right now. I got that chum blocker to not take any life at this point. He's thinking about playing the Luffy right now. The Luffy would be interesting. You would be able to go aggro right now and maybe swing at one of these characters or something of the sort. What's the better option right here? The 8-cost Luffy or the 8-cost Katakuri? I feel like the 8-cost Katakuri is the better option. You really want the blocker at this point, right? And so there you go. You pass off the turn. You got the 8-drop Katakuri. And so now we move into the next turn for the blue-green Sanji right here. So draws another 2K. That's going to be really nice, right? You got enough counter at this point. Hody would be a really good play right here, right? Because Hody would be able to rest the 2 Dawn, and especially with no counter in hand at this point, right outside of those counter events for the blue-purple Luffy, just being able to swing out could be such a huge advantage for you, especially when your blue-green Sanji leader, right, could pick up the Tashigi and go ahead and use the Smoker restand to be able to swing again. But on this 7K swing is going to go ahead and use Gum Gum Giant to draw 2 cards. We know those 2 cards are counter events, right, with no counter on them. So if you're the blue-green Sanji, maybe you want to go in and just play Hody Jones now, right? You would be able to rest the Dawn and rest the blocker, and you saw on a 7K swing that he went ahead and used Gum Gum Giant. So how much counter does he actually have in hand? And so the Nami comes down, could still use the Smoker, right, to restand 1 Dawn. So it's really like Nami is being only played with 1 Dawn. Looks like they had a couple of those EBO2. We see Vanderdecken in the list. This guy's playing Vanderdecken in this list. Vanderdecken, one of my favorite cards, right? KOs anything on the field that is rested. So good when you play so many other Fishman type cards, right? We see the Hachan, we see the Hody Jones, we see the Arlong, right? So it fulfills in the, what's that guy's name? Vanderdecken's effect, right? Of having to trash a Fishman type card from your hand. Absolutely cool tech in this ZoroSanji list. I'm a huge fan. But on the Nami on the East Blue is going to grab a 2-cost Koshiro right here. Yeah, just check in what Nami grabs. Because usually Nami just grabs Straw Hat Crew type characters. So this Nami specifically from OP03 grabbing East Blue typing. And so now going in with the 6K swing at this Bon Clay. Really trying to ask maybe another... I feel like he's not going for game at this point. I think he's waiting a turn to go for game, and so gets that Bon Clay knocked out, restands one with the Tashigi. Still one Dawn active and one blocker left on the blue-purple Luffy side. I think the thing that you have to think about, though, at this point is your opponent just revealed the 8-cost Rush Luffy, right? And a lot of times we've seen in Japan, the 8-cost Rush Luffy is usually not just a one of in the list, right? Usually it's maybe like a 2 or a 3. You could also play the 9-cost OP09, I believe it is, purple Luffy, right? That is also another Rush character. So if you take your own life with Hody Jones, do you have enough to actually be able to survive the attacks of the 8-drop blocker, of the 8 to 9,000, 10,000 power Rusher, and also the leader swing? Sup, I think that Vanderdecken is more so like once per game kind of thing. I don't think it's like a every single turn kind of thing. Like, I doubt you would use it more than one time, you know? That's my thought, at least, watching this. So we're definitely attaching one to leader, right? We do want to restand with our smoker. If we're going to play Hody Jones, the time is now, right? 7 Dawn left, but looks like not playing Hody Jones in this turn. Looks like is attaching 2 more to swing 8,000 power, uses that leader effect to restand the smoker, maybe thinking of playing the Kyoshiro on this turn and leaving 1 Dawn up potentially, or maybe swinging 8,000 power banish with the, or maybe even bigger than 8,000 power banish with the smokers. So matching the Katakuri blocker at this point is going to go ahead and take the life, kind of negate the smoker banish effect, right? Because if there's no life to gain, then, well, a smoker can't really do anything, right, or threaten with the banish. So attaches 1 Dawn to the smoker, goes ahead and swings 8,000 power, my apologies, and so uses that gear 2 to get him to 9,000 power, does not have to rest that blocker Katakuri. Then uses the Nami, goes ahead and searches, is going to do a Nami Kyoshiro play right here with the 4 Dawn, ends up finding some East Blue cards, right? Especially that 2K right there. One of the new good 2Ks for Slash type decks. The Shimotsuki Kozaburo, I think is how you pronounce it. My apologies. And then, as I mentioned, ends off the turn with the Kyoshiro. You've got a lot of counter in the hand, right? You've got another Nami Searcher, a couple 2Ks, and the Hachan, and also that new Slash character, like I mentioned. Holy moly. The blue-purple Luffy now at this point has a couple different options right now. Has that, what am I trying to say? Has that 9-cost Sanji in hand to be able to play this 8-cost Katakuri that's in that top, but is thinking about trying to top deck the Gum Red Hawk, right? Grabs that Nami because that is a nice counter card that you like to see in this, but actually bottom decks it in general, so maybe not playing the Sanji, maybe just going to go in with a double Katakuri play, or maybe play the Sanji and then leave a bunch of Dawn open, right, to try to mitigate the amount of value that Hody Jones can get. This is a live tourney in the East. Yes, we are watching this live right now. And so swing 6,000 power over at leaders, just a nice 2K to get out of that. Surprising not using the 2-cost Nami Searcher, in my opinion, on that counter out. Or I'm sorry, wait, no. He was swinging at leader. It's 5,000 power leader. The 2K is the perfect card to use, actually, on Blue Purple Luffy. Apologies. So now 8,000 power going in. Thinking about using multiple cards for counter this 8,000 power swing, I think going at the Arlong, either Arlong or leader. 2K would get out of leader, or 2K would get out in Arlong. Looks like it was going on Arlong with the 2K. Katakuri is such a valuable blocker, right? Because it does have the ability to restand itself at the end of turn, restanding to Big Mom Pirate type cards. So thinking about the rest of his plays, I think he's either trying to play the Nami, the 5-cost Nami on this turn, or the 8-cost Katakuri. The 5-cost Nami, maybe to filter out the hand, right? Get rid of this Sanji and Katakuri and leave a ton of Dawn open in case of that Hody Jones. So picks up some more events as well as a 2K right here. So is thinking about putting away the God Thread and the Sanji. Do like this. Those two cards not really going to help you at this stage of the game. Feel free to bottom those to the bottom of the deck. And so passes off the turn. And so draws for turn is going to go to a full 10 Dawn. Like I mentioned, the Hody Jones is a pretty... Is Hody Jones a good play here, actually? Wait. Well, thinking about his hand right from the perspective of the ZoroSanji, I guess it's going to have to wait and see. We do know that he's going to be able to restand, right, one of these characters, more than likely the Smoker. So on that 7K swing is going to do a free block 8,000 on the Katakuri. Now the leader going ahead and using leader effect to be able to pick up the Nami, right, and restand the Smoker. Just a nice 1K counter. A couple more counter cards left in this deck, right? Could utilize one on the Smoker. I think he's still like in a relatively okay position, chat. The ZoroSanji, even if he doesn't hit game this next turn. But the more that he continues to swing just at life and not hit for game, the more blockers are going to come out onto the field for this Blue-Purple Luffy, right? Another 8-cost Katakuri in the hand. And so 8,000 power at lead right now with this Arlong. Going to be a swing. It's going to be interesting because I think a lot of these swings that he's going for right now are forcing these counter events, right? Especially now at this point with an 8,000 swing on that Arlong. Forces out that gear 2. Still over 6.5 minutes on the clock in this end game. It's definitely a crucial turn, I feel like, right? I feel like this turn almost decides the game in general. So is going to do two. So another turn of no Hody Jones. Decides to wait another turn. Does find the Vivi, right, from EB02. Another SR in here that they find. Definitely a curious one, especially, you know, being a leader that's multicolored, right? Drawing cards sometimes is just good when you have these combo plays. And ends up failing that no East Blue cards. Wait, the Vivi's not East Blue. Is it just Alabasta? That's crazy. That's a terrible miss, actually. And so 6 Dawn left in the turn. What do you do at this point? Looks like is attaching 4 Dawn for an 11,000 power swing. Maybe going ahead and playing over this Nami and playing another Kyoshiro. You still have the protection effect from that 3-cost Shigi as well. So if a 9-drop Linlin does come into the game, right, on this next turn or something of the sort, you can still keep a lot of your bodies alive. We see another blocker coming into the hand for the Katakuri, as well as a Red Rock coming in. Still has to counter out of the rest of it. Uses the 2K Sanji. Oh, you're right, Timothy. Vivi never did go to East Blue. You're right. You're right. So now using leader effect after passing the turn and playing the Kyoshiro. Another turn for this Blue-Purple Luffy to set up. Sees the Linlin in that top. The Linlin, in my opinion, not necessarily a great card at this point. I feel like a lot of times the Linlin is a great card to get. But if you're the Blue-Purple Luffy right now, I definitely agree, like grabbing these Namis to play down, filter the hand a little bit to try to find like counter events and stuff, play another blocker, leave a lot of Dawn open, could just be the best game plan that you can do, because Hody Jones, like I've mentioned, is just that good of a card. And so swings 6,000 power at leader, is thinking about using some cards. Moving around, the cards are Cavendish in hand, Hody Jones, and what was the third card? Is it a 2K? It's a 2K Hachan. Not afraid of losing at this point, right? Just takes that first life. An Arlong, that's a non-counter card in the Arlong. The more that the Luffy commits, though, to swinging, the better off the ZoroSanji is. And on this swing with the Katakuri, goes ahead and commits the blocker. Another Nami comes down on the field. We saw that get grabbed. And so 3 cards going into the hand and 2 being put on the top or bottom of the deck. Finds 2 Sanjis and a Pudding. Not great cards, I feel like, at this point. Your hand is actually kind of limited in some stuff. Right, only 1 counter event in the Thunder Bagua, and only a 2K, 1K outside of that. You do have 3 blockers and 5 active Dawn to work with to kind of feint some things, but your hand's kind of running low on the counter power here. So drawing for turn, it looks like grabbing another Cavendish. So yeah, I think Hody could just win the game right here. Or it's your best chances you have to win this game. You slam it down, you rest 2 of the blockers, right? And you just hope that you have enough swings and enough counter. You can pick up your 2K Tashigi, right, to get an extra swing on the smoker. So starts out 7,000 power right here. Is going to either command a 2K or a block, right? We could see the Katakuri block, as we saw in the last turn. And so the Usohachi 2K is going to be utilized. Ends up swinging 6,000 power poke damage with the Arlong. And so there's that counter. And so he really needs, at this point, he needs blocks to happen on like the leader swing and his extra swing. So goes ahead and swings 6,000 power, going to pick up the Kyoshiro. Okay, not picking up the Tashigi. Interesting. I guess, I mean, you're dead either way, right? With all these swings that they could have. So now Thunder Bagua comes in, is going to go ahead and do that. The Smoker restands. I think he's got game right now. Yeah, if he just slams down Hody Jones, you slam down Hody Jones, you rest the 2. Although, then again, the opponent has no idea, right? This blue-green Sanji has no idea that there is no counter in the hand, that these leftover active Dawn are just feint, right? They're just a feint to make you believe that there's another Gum Gum Giant in hand. But this 7K swing, is always like a Katakuri block, right? It's just a free block. You don't reveal any information, right? Because if you block with the Nami, oh, he's blocking with the Nami. Okay. In my opinion, if you block with the Nami and you don't counter, I'm slamming down the Hody Jones, because that's like, why did you not save that Nami, right? That could have been a swing into me on this next turn. So I'm going all in. It's so hard to tell at these points, right? Especially if you're the blue-purple Sanji player, and they've officially hit overtime as well in this match. So turn 0 being the blue-green Sanji. I think this game's over like either after this turn or the blue-purple Luffy's turn right at this point, just simply because, you know, we're at the end game right now. You really got to think about like how many events that they've seen at this point and what's the likelihood of them having more at right now. Come on, just Hody Jones, the blockers. You've got this. So 5, 7. He's got 2 Dawn left over after that. That would be a 10,000. He's thinking about playing Hody Jones. I think he kind of sees, yo, don't be toxic, Velvet. Don't be toxic. This is an extremely stressful moment of the tournament. Don't be toxic. And so plays down Hody Jones, rests those 2 blockers, restands with the Smoker, 1 Dawn. And so swings 6,000 power on the Tashigi is going to end up getting the win, right? Try to maximize the amount of power going into the different swings, right? How can they best utilize the Dawn to give them the best chance? Really got a breather there, an exhale of relief that no counter was in the hand after resting those blockers. Phenomenal match as ZoroSanji makes it into the top 8 of the Fukuoka Championships. Very, very exciting. Also a very cool list, right? Let's go ahead and look at the list a little bit. Or, well, I don't have the list on me, but we can, like, build it. Let's see. We've got this.